Hey, it's Matt with MSN.ca. Kate Nash, how are you? I know there's cameras everywhere, it's crazy. We like to shoot everything.
Yeah.
Make sure with the Horseshoe Tavern, everything behind us. So how are things? You're in Canada, you're
Good.
here again.
I'm here again. It's good to be back.
Yeah, touring this record, Girl Talk, that
Yeah.
I love. And it's
Oh,
so
thank
different.
you.
Like the opening track, it starts so slow and then it's just like, that song had to be the, when you sequence that record, it had to be first.
When I wrote it, I was like, this is the opener. And I hadn't, even before I finished the rest of the record, I was like, I know this is the opener, because it just sort of set the whole, like, I think it's a good introduction to like how I was feeling at the time as well. So.
It's certainly a punkier vibe on the record.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of, so was it written on guitar as opposed to piano more?
Bass.
Like written on the bass. Like
Well,
how does that happen?
I tend to like just write a riff and then sing melody and lyrics just come out of that. And I finish a song lyrically before I develop it any further musically.
Okay.
And then I bring in like a drummer and sort of figure out the drive of the song, and then guitarist and like sort of sing guitar melodies.
I find it so interesting it was written on the bass. Every song was written on the bass.
2 songs were written on guitar.
Okay.
And
Well, I guess
one-
the acoustic song probably was.
I'm So Cool, You're So Cool, I'm So Freaky was guitar. Conventional Girl was guitar, and Friend was guitar.
Okay.
And then also Labyrinth was written on my garage band, like keyboard.
Yeah, it's more synthy, pads.
And then a cappella, Lullaby for Insomniac, obviously.
Yeah, okay, well, let's go to that song, because I like
Yeah.
that too. And I think it's so interesting that it's just voice until the orchestration at the end.
I know.
So where does that sit in a set live? Like it could almost open up a show
Right.
and have everyone like really chill for the
Yeah,
moment,
yeah, yeah.
or close it in
I think
an
it's a nice
interesting way.
closer.
So you
I
close
think-
shows with it? Have
Yeah,
you?
not
Okay.
always. I haven't been doing it recently, but I did on the last tour I did. I was doing that, and it's kind of like a really nice moment. It's a really unique moment with a crowd, because you have to get everyone silent to do an a cappella track, obviously. And but yeah, I liked the idea of the recording having like, because I wrote it in the middle of the night at like 4 a.m. and on my iPhone, and I sort of felt like that made it sound really vulnerable, like the recording. So we just recorded it at Tom Biller's house on cassette tape, because we didn't want to like record it too fancy. And I wanted it to go from extreme lo-fi to like extreme hi-fi in a second, and that's what happens. And also it sounds like a Disney movie at the end or something. But it was based, I wanted it to sound like the Gone with the Wind theme song.
So how do you write an orchestration? Can you write music? Like how does that?
Well,
how does that work?
I mean, I have studied like theory and stuff, but it's not like my forte. So I worked with a guy who does composition, and I gave him like a bunch of references, and he came up with an idea, and then I went around to his house and we worked on a couple of specific ideas that I had, and but he was really good. So he it copies some of the melody within the song, and which is crazy watching like an orchestra like mimic your melody that you just came up with on an iPhone. It just feels really crazy, but obviously flattering. So, yeah.
You mentioned Tom Billick in there. So working in Los Angeles for the
Yeah.
first time
Yeah.
on a record, how does that change the process of putting something together outside of? Does it change the process being outside of the country?
I think it must do. I think it like totally changed like mentally how I felt. And actually after recording there, I don't think I would ever record in London again.
Change it up from place to place, or
Maybe,
always go to Los Angeles?
Change it. I mean, I don't know. I can't say until I've like. I mean, I like the writing process in London because it's sort of gritty and like difficult, and everyone's moody and horrible in England. So you kind of have this like, it's like I remember moments where I was in my pajamas and it's like cold and rainy outside, and I'm like, oh, the last thing I want to do is go to my rehearsal room. And so you just go in your pajamas and you begrudgingly get there, and it like sort of brings a different kind of vibe to the writing process. But for recording, I think England's such a small country. Everyone's really self-involved and obsessed with like what's happening in everyone else's lives, and it's really easy to know, especially like in the music industry. So you're like, there's all this like weird paranoia and pressure because it's kind of a small world feeling in England sometimes. Whereas like when you're outside of that, like America's massive. So like when I stayed in a mansion, which was so beautiful, and like my thoughts weren't at all in like any of the things that I think have a negative effect on a record. So I think it's like, as you should liberate yourself as much as you can when you're recording, so that you're just focused on the music and nothing else. And like going, downstairs into a giant ballroom every morning with like beautiful views of like, it was just amazing. Like there's like taxidermy tigers and like taxidermy like polar bears and like statues.
Are you okay with that as a vegetarian? Do you like that?
I really like taxidermy, actually, yeah.
Okay.
But it's all like old
Right.
stuff, it's not like they freshly killed a tiger.
Just put it in there that morning.
For me, I demanded it. I was like, I'm not recording without this. But it was such a unique experience, like, because it was just one of the best times of my whole life.
Cool. You said a few things in there I want to touch on. I guess we'll go to you have a rehearsal space that you write in, so do you always go to the same place? Is it like a safe room to write, and that's where you create best? Or can you write anywhere?
I mean, I guess I can write anywhere, but I'm quite private about it. So I like to have like a little kind of cave to hide away in. And I found this rehearsal space near my house that's like under a railway. And the owner's really cool, and it's got a Wayne's World kind of vibe. There's like a leopard print bar, and like MTV Classics always playing, and like there's a giant dog and like a fish tank and a pool table, and so I like to hang out there too, and it does feel just like a really good vibe. So I've kind of that's like my go-to place now for any writing or recording demos is there. Yeah, because I don't really like, and it's not like fancy schmancy. I don't like that kind of stale fancy schmancy. I think rehearsal rooms need to be a bit like, you want to feel, loads of bands have been through there, and there's some history to it.
It's got some character to it.
Yeah.
Glad you mentioned Wayne's World, because I'm going to segue into your acting career with that. Let's do that. Why not? So, well, it's a busy year for you. You got some. I know you shot them a little while ago, but you got some movies coming out for the first time, I think.
Yeah.
So what's that? Why? How is it? How did that? Why and how? Like,
why would you be creative in a different?
No. Why in a bad way? Why in a great way?
Just because, like, I always wanted to like try acting. I studied theatre from 16 to 18, and my initial plan was to go to drama school or university to study theatre and become an actress. And then that didn't work out because I got rejected from all universities.
I think it worked out in the end, though, with this whole music career.
Yeah. But my plan at first was that I'm going to do this, and then I got sort of swerved and distracted by having a successful music career. And then my now acting manager got in touch with me because her daughter was a fan of my music, and she wanted to bond with her daughter, and then found out that I was interested in acting and had a meeting with me, and then we've just been together since. And then she got me representation in the UK too. So I've done 2 American movies and 1 UK film, and it's been really awesome to it feels like the right way to enter into the industry, because it's not just being based on the fact that I've had a successful music career. It's it's got an organic growth to it, which I really like.
So what drew you to those parts? Why those 2 or 3 films, I guess?
Well, Syrup, Aaron Rappaport, I met him, the director, and we just had an instant sort of rapport. And he shot my music videos when I was in LA recording the album too, because we just got on really well and we're good friends. And so I auditioned for that part with him, and I think we just click really well creatively. He's very driven in the same way that I am. And then there was Greetings from Tim Buckley, which I auditioned for in New York. Then Powder Room. I think it really helps when you have a relationship, like when you've met the director, because I've done auditions before with just a casting director there, and it always feels kind of stale, and
it's a weird experience for people who haven't been in that room before.
It's a really weird experience, and you don't really know if the casting director always necessarily cares so much about the project. Whereas when the director's there, like MJ Delaney, who directed Powder Room, was there. She sort of talked to me about the project and was really it seemed really exciting. And then you're in an atmosphere that's already creative, and you're sort of performing for someone. Whereas with a casting director, someone behind a camera, they're just sometimes they just don't even, they get the words wrong, or they don't really care, and you're trying to be really emotional back to them, and it's a really awkward situation. So MJ is really awesome, and it was a predominantly female cast, and girls like Sheridan Smith and Jamie Winston, Una Chaplin, who are British actresses that I've seen on TV screens for years and who I really respect. So it was such a cool experience.
How similar or different is shooting a music video compared to doing the movie? Are there similarities? Are there differences?
I mean, I think having experience behind a camera, 6 years of it now, has given me and photo shoots too. It's understanding what camera is and what you're trying to get out of it. Because I used to feel really nervous in front of the camera, sort of subconscious and uncomfortable. And then once I realized it, I don't know, you've just got to understand what you're trying to get out of it. And then you don't feel as stupid about doing things because you know how it looks, And so that definitely helped me having confidence. But music videos are just quick. You've got to do everything really quick,
Did you have that apprehension going on stage at first too? That nervousness?
What?
That you said you had in front of the camera the first few times?
For gigs?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my first show I was dying. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to do it. And
so what pushed you to keep doing it?
Well, I did it, and it was the funnest thing I'd ever done. So I think like I would really encourage people, particularly girls actually, because like a lot of girls like don't go into music careers because they're like scared of the pressure or they don't feel entitled to being there. But if you can push past those nerves and get a taste for it, then you won't ever like go back.
Is that what your school teaches?
Yeah, that's
what the program does. Yeah.
Well, just like getting them to try like playing bass, drums, guitar for the first time, and like lyrics, and actually I wanted to get that moment out of them because I had girls that were like so scared in front of like the class, and they didn't want to do it, and then a transformation of like after the work that we did together, watching them on stage in front of 800 people, they were like so confident, and they suddenly had a place. You have a place to like put all that like angst, and just how excited they were afterwards. That's exactly what I wanted to capture, because I knew that like just getting that little taste for it will change you like forever, I think.
Sure.
Because it's fun, you know, and you're like, oh my God, I want to do this again.
We don't have too much time, but it's a terrible segue, but knitting is fun too for you? I saw a picture on Twitter and I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah,
my
nan taught me how to knit.
Okay.
And I just finished knitting a scarf that I was selling as like a unique piece of merch on Pledge.
So you do, on Pledge, okay. I was gonna say, do you sell it at shows?
Yeah, no, I don't think, although I'm getting really quick, I like just did it. I can do them in like one sitting now. But I think I'd probably I get really carried away, I get really involved in a project, and I'd be too distracted about selling merch.
Right,
you know?
and then the show that you're here to play.
Yeah, and my hands on the bass would be all achy from knitting, and just be a nightmare.
So you're playing bass the majority of the show then?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Before I let you go, 5 quick questions, 1-word answers.
Oh God, I'm not good at this. I will definitely not give you a 1-word answer.
Okay, well we'll see.
Just to let you know.
We'll see what happens. Road or studio?
Oh, see already.
Well, go for it. Go speak.
Okay. They're so different, and I love being like locked away in a studio. And then I also love like being on the road. The experiences you get there are really unique. But once you've had one for a really long time, you're like desperate to go into the next phase.
Okay.
Told you, I don't do one word.
Maybe this one will be one. Lennon or McCartney?
As if that's going to be one.
I ask everyone these questions.
I know. I recently got asked this for a fanzine, and I said McCartney, but purely because I've had a cup of tea with him.
Really?
And he also said that one of my songs was a good song.
What song?
So it was Mouthwash, years ago at Jules Holland. And so it's really unfair on John, because he obviously can't have a cup of tea with me or tell me that he likes one of my songs. So it's not personal. It's just, there's no other way I could possibly choose.
Right. You can go to Strawberry Fields, maybe have a cup of tea where they have that memorial in New York.
Yeah.
It's not the same, but
yeah, I could try.
It might bring you some sort of connection.
It might do.
I don't know where I'm going with that. When you hear a song, what usually hits you first? Lyrics, melody, or rhythm?
Lyrics.
Hey, 1 word. All right. Song you've written you're most proud of?
Sister.
Oh, I like that. I like the voice cracks on that tune.
Yeah.
And this one has to be 1 word. In 1 word, Kate Nash.
Doofus.
Doofus. I like it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool.